The Nuclear Waste Management Organization's plan to transport and bury nuclear waste in Northern Ontario is in the first stage of a federal review. An important comment window closes Sunday at midnight. It's time to speak up. The nuclear industry proposes to transport, process, bury, and then abandon a minimum of 164,000 tons of highly radioactive nuclear waste at a site they selected in northwestern Ontario. Nuclear waste is a problem because it's both toxic and radioactive and will remain toxic and radioactive and able to harm us for hundreds of thousands of years. The NWMO has selected a site between Ignis and Dryden, the Revel site, in the heart of Treaty 3 territory and at the headwaters of the Wabigoon watershed. The site is 1,700 kilometers from the reactors in southern Ontario, where 90% of the waste is located, and further from the nuclear reactor stations in eastern Canada. We're now in the first phase of an impact assessment, and the second and final comment period in this phase of the federal review closes at midnight on Sunday, May 10th. The current comment period is on impact statement guidelines and on a public participation plan and Indigenous engagement plan. The guidelines are important because they set out what information the NWMO must provide in their impact statement and the supporting documents, and the impact assessment will be carried out based on that information. It's important that the NWMO's impact statement provide a detailed description of all parts of the project and the potential effects, as it will form the basis of the impact assessment process, including a public hearing. A full description of the NWMO project and related potential impacts must be presented in detail, including all the project activities and components. Project components include transportation, processing, the design and construction of the deep geological repository, placement of the waste underground, monitoring, releases to air and water from all operations, retrievability of the waste, and measures of how well the NWMO project will actually perform in terms of protecting people and the environment from the release of radioactive contaminants over the short term during operation and over the hundreds of thousands of years that will follow. One approach to developing your comments is to identify a few issues that concern you most. Maybe it's the risk of accidents during transportation or while the waste is being placed deep underground. Maybe it's the threat of terrorism or sabotage that could be introduced along the transportation route or at the repository site. Maybe it's the release of radioactivity or radiological contaminants during transportation, processing, or during or after the waste is buried. Our suggestion is to identify issues that concern you and either comment to the Impact Assessment Agency that this important issue must be included in the guidelines, or if you can spend a little bit more time, look at the guidelines as currently drafted and search to see if your concerns have been included. If they have, comment on whether there is enough detail. If they have not, comment that the issue should be included. This short list is a starting point, certainly not a limit, but key areas for comment on the draft guidelines include: NWMO must provide a full and detailed description of their project, all components, all activities, all potential for releases to the environment, and other sources of environmental or social harm. Alternatives to the project must be included. The Impact Assessment Act requires this. Long-distance transportation must be fully examined. The long-term safety and performance of the deep geological repository must be included in the impact assessment. It can't be put off to some licensing review several years into the future after the impact assessment has been completed. Social factors must be addressed, including issues around social division and the lack of consent. The impact statement must be based on facts, not promotional lines or undeveloped concepts or untested theories. It must be evidence-based, and the review must be an assessment process, not simply an approvals process. If you need help getting started, there's a template letter posted on the We the Nuclear Free North website that provides an optional format for your comments. But it's important that the comments are yours and the Federal Impact Assessment Agency hears your voice. For more information, visit We the Nuclear Free North's website and click on the link for Impacts webpage. It has lots of links and tips, including the guides from this explainer video, and direct links to post or email your comments to the Impact Assessment Agency. The deadline is Sunday, May 10th, 11:59 p.m. Thank you and best wishes.